Good morning, Nigeria. I welcome you to another edition of Big Story on Daybreak Live. My name is Oluwaimi Adelako, and I'm not alone in the studio this morning. I have with me Afolabi, a public affairs analyst who is going to help me make sense of this topic. We are assessing presidential tenure. Should Nigeria consider a single-term presidency? Welcome on board this morning.
Good morning, Nigerians. I'm happy to be here.
Exactly. All right, let's start with this in the background question. What are the main reasons why some Nigerians are calling for a single-term presidency in Nigeria? Well,
this is so simple, and it's obvious too that at a point where we have tried the two-term tenure of presidency, governorship, House of Rep, and House of Assembly. It's so very good if we could try the one-time tenure so as to put stability in our democracy, because as president, I will tell you, our democracy is shaking, our governance performance is shaking, and the result is not actually coming out as expected. When you see governors who have the mind of, oh, after the first time, I will go the second time, they tend to reduce their performance. They tend to put up a kind of shady window dressing behavior and projects that they may not be able to complete at the first tenure, and then extend it to the second tenure. But if we have a one-time tenure where you know that, yes, as coming in, you will not spend more than 5 years or 4 years, then you know that, yes, at the time you are coming in, this is the project you want to do. You will not be giving us a 16, 17, 5, 10, 20 agenda that you yourself know that you cannot complete in a two-time tenure, in a one-time tenure. If it's just 3, you're talking about road, you are talking about electricity, or you're looking about the educational sector, then you know that, yes, focusing on that will give you a fine result at the end of your tenure. That will also give us a stability in our education, in our health, even most importantly, in our governance. Our governance is seriously shaking, and people mentality and behavior of having in mind that, yes, I'll come for back in the second time, because they will have whole grip to all the local governments, whole grip to all the states, whole grip to all the sectors, because they knew that they are coming back, even when they are yet to perform, and their scorecard is still rating 0.1.
All right, so let's talk about this now. Do you think a single term of 4 years can turn the country around? Because some politicians have argued that even the 8 years is not enough to do miracles in Nigeria. It's not enough to turn the country around.
No, yes, the 8 years, like some very greedy politician will tell you, it's not enough to turn the country around. Even they will tell you the one time is not enough. Then which time is enough to turn the country around? What the best time to turn the country around is a time when you put yourself in the shoe of the masses you are controlling, you are ruling, in the shoe of the people that you are directing. It's a time when you believe that if I could do this, a 4 years is not just a 2 days, it's not just a 365 days, it's a 365 days times 4. And I tell you, if you have your plan and you have your best hand in the commissioning, you have your best hand in the agencies, you have your best hand wherever that matters. You don't just bring a politician who is there to just spread the good news, spread the money at the background. Then you know that your 4 years or your 5 years is the best time to come in and perform wonder. If not, we are not expecting you to do all. Even our Lord God that have created us, we still complain. The time comes when God will give us water, rain, and we complain that we expect sunshine. So we don't expect anybody to do miracle. We just want you to put up a good plan, a good project, a good performance, that after your time somebody else can come in. Nelson Mandela did not spend second time, and just one time his name still ring bell in South Africa, in Africa itself, and in the entire world. So I tell you, what are the things that you want to do that if you are coming in you don't have plan for? And that is why we see jamborees at our campaigns, at our public lectures, where we expect those who are contesting to give us blueprint of what they are going there to do. Then you see music coming off from left and right. You see some song by the background. You see some West Sider giving us music and giving us song that does not really have anything to do with what is expected. And the man will lose focus on what he needs to do, what he needs to tell us, and how he wants to go about it. And I tell you, if we really want a better country, Nigeria, a better nation, where it will cut across everybody, let somebody come in from Ibadan North this year, Let somebody coming from the southwest coming term. Let somebody come from Shaki the other term. Let somebody come from Ogbomoso. Let us rotate it. If you are talking about a one-term tenure, it means that 2 terms that make one person to spend in a 2 term that give one person an opportunity will have been a 2 term for one person each, 2 person each, like one person 4 term or 5 years, the second person 5 years. Then we know we can then wage performance. We can then wage the way and manner governance has been when this person came in and why he was going back.
Are you suggesting 5 years for second term for presidency?
If we cannot make 4, let's make it 5. Let's make it 5, but I would suggest, I would prefer 4, because you see, the first year is to gather the momentum, gather all the money they spend during their campaign, gather all the debt they are owing and pay back, and then, try to be comfortable. But at the same time, I tell you, if our governance is better managed in that manner, in that system, we will get more results. It is obvious we'll get more results, because for this 2-term tenure, we are tired.
What about a 6 year for one second term?
It's too much.
6 years for one second term.
It's too much. 6 years is not just a joke. It's too much. Giving back to a child, and in 6 years the child is already in school. It's too much. Let's have a 4 or 5, at worst 5. 5, so that you will be able to get things right. Because the 6 years is not too far away from the 2-term tenure, where they spend 8 years. At present, you can rate the performance of a sitting governor when he started, and the time is getting to second term. They relax immediately they get to their 6 years. They relax. They hardly do anything. They only bring out those projects that they are about to complete, commissioning.
Are you saying the second term for most governors and even president is performative at best?
And that is just it. You just said it. That is just it. They don't do anything. The first time is when they want to do something. They want to show off of what they are there for, what they came in for, and who they are best to known for. But in this case, where you are second term, they relax. And that is where looting comes in. That is where explosion comes in. A big corruption will now set in. You see many people want to get out with a lot of money that they cannot even spend in the next 50 years. And the masses are crying. And it is obvious in the face of the masses on the streets.
So according to you, if most leaders don't perform well in their second term, so how is it that we have maintained that culture of 2 term, especially even for governors? In Oyo State, it didn't happen, and the one governor came and said Kosheleri, and he had 2 term, and then this current governor is also using a second term. And across state, Lagos State, Ogun State, we have several governors who said for 2 terms.
When the power set in, they hold grip to all the local government setup. They all agree to all the commissioning. So they set their people, they gave their people a target. Go and win your constituency. Go and win your ward. Their money will flow. At that point, our people, when they are hungry, an angry man is an angry man. At that point, when they are hungry and they get the money, like maybe to a bag of rice, like we are seeing now, during campaign, that is when you see bag of rice flowing. That is when you see 4 yards of clothes flowing, free of charge. That is when you see milk. That is where you see tin tomato and so many other things that people they don't get in the first year. It is on the electionary period that you see all these things flowing. And it's not even from the governor alone. Some people who wants to become the commissioner, who wants to be there as the agency director, who wants to be there as so many people, they are the ones that will dole out this, and they keep doing it and getting that opportunity to come back again. We have so much put our people in that kind of position not to think right. And that is the problem we are having. It's not that our people are comfortable with the second term tenure. They are not. But they don't have any choice. Right now, it is obvious with the number of people that are contesting for presidency and the rotational and the person in charge in power, it will only take God to reverse it. It will only take God. And before you take God, it will take our own decision too. We should start clamoring for it right from this particular platform, telling people out there why we don't need this, why we only need a one-time tenure for any person who is going for political power. That is just the best way to send the message out, to rotate our people, because right now, look at the local government. It has been taken over by the state governors. Nobody is at the local government anymore. You go to the local government, you're only a worker, you walk in there, walk out. Even the local government chairman has no say on his own staff. They don't have say on their project, and that is why we have so much insecurity within our local government, especially those in the urban area. They don't have say. They hardly control anything, And that is where people could enter in the local government and come out without their knowledge. Even when they know, they can only come to the state secretariat to make noise. And when they make such noise, they don't make it in a manner of passion. They make it like a gentleman making a noise. Please, sir, we observe that some people are entering our local government, and we don't. And it is on that thing turn out to be noise. It turned out to be aggrieved noise. And that is where you see, you look at the governor would started taking note of their complaints. So this is the problem. But if we have a one-time tenure, the 3 tiers of government will work perfectly. The governor will work, the executive will work, the legislative will work, the local government will work perfectly. Everybody will know that yes, we are here for business. Just a 4-5 years time, we must achieve this. This road must be completed. These schools must be in order. This health facility must be on ground. This particular area, this market situation that we are seeing right now, because during rainy season, our market people suffer. All their things go perish. Because they don't have deep drainage, they don't have balance, they don't have well constructed markets that they can depend on, even when it is raining, and so many other things like that.
Okay, I think you've been advocating, for a single term.
Yeah.
Okay, do you think if a president, for instance, now are allowed to do one single term, don't you think maybe in a way, because this is the argument of certain persons online, that it might make the president less accountable to the people? And why are they saying that? Because he might feel, okay, you are not voting for me to come back for a second term, so I can do whatever I want to do in my first term and then I'm out, because I do not need your votes for a second term because I'm not coming back.
Well, maybe that will help us to also strengthen our judicial system, so that anybody that is finishing his own first time will be accountable by the judiciary through the legislature. When we pass a bill that is made after your first time, you are not performing, or there is any loopholes in your governance, then you face the judiciary. That will be the best way for us to live. We've seen it in so many ways. After the second time, they bought over even the judiciary, and you see cases, pending cases, adjournments. Somebody will be calling that this court has no jurisdiction to take this particular case, and such will happen to so much that the man will be given leave to go and take care of himself abroad in the area of health. He will just put up an health complaint, and where we have so many hospitals in Nigeria, and somebody is still granted to go out of the country to go and treat it ourselves. Can you understand that if we put ourselves in a one-time system of government, that you don't have any other thing to do but to come out this time, even if you have to come back again, it will be after now. You will have performed your one times in government, and people will rate you and say, okay, let's keep you in a particular place. After this person comes back, this person comes in, and we cannot get the best from him, then we can bring you back. That way, it will give us a checks and balances. We will be able to ascertain the level of our progress. But right now, it is a 1 step forward, 3 steps backward, or even 4, and we are suffering and smiling, and the people are not happy. And also, the rate at which it has made some people to amass wealth, they look like their generation can never be poor forever. And it has also helped us to deep into corruption. Look at all the cases. There has never been any government after their own time that they don't have either their commissioner, their ministers in the cell, or being queried by the judiciary. And that tells you that they don't even query them for small money. You listen to the kind of money they are querying there for. You ask, this is a budget of not less than 5-6 states, and somebody is taking that to his own account alone. So what are we saying? If we are able to maintain this one-time single system, then we'll be able to manage ourselves. Then we can have a rotational system of government where people can come in and we can check. Maybe we do it in a regional sector, or a kind of where the state is, like you have in Ogun State. They do not Ogun North and Ogun South. Either the Jebu North, the Jebu South, wherever they want to call themselves, somebody must come from that place. Either in the Egba South, Egba North, wherever they want to call themselves, somebody come from that place, and they check performance, they rate performance, they rate people that are coming in, they determine that this person has come before.
Okay. So I have a question to you. You mentioned something. A single term presidency or maybe governorship now, can it put an end to corruption? Because we have seen certain governors who were only there for 4 years, and then after their governance, EFCC was chasing them, for certain reasons. So does it mean that a single term of 4 years can actually put an end to corruption?
It will minimize. It will not put end to corruption, but it will minimize, it will not allow you to go too deeper. When somebody is just being queried for a one-time in office for like 4 billion and is returning back 2 billion, by the time the person spends 2 terms, the person may be queried for 16 billion. And that is 4 times.
So the longer they stay, according to you,
the longer they deep into corruption, and the longer Nigerians suffer, the longer our projects suffer. Have you not seen abandoned projects everywhere? When somebody, a particular governor will come in the name of a particular party, started a project and they're unable to complete it, another one will come, abandon that project, start another one, unable to complete it, another one will come, and that is not governance. What I know of governance is continuity. Continuity is in government, where so it's not the person that started it. It's about the project is for the state or for the nation. Go to Lagos, go and see a lot of them. A lot of federal projects abandoned. Go to some state, you'll be crazy to see some road project unable to complete till date.
Speaking about continuity, whose fault is it? Because we've even seen certain, I'll go back to the issue of governors now, because for presidency in this country, we have seen more 8 years in office. So for governors now, we have seen certain cases whereby someone started a project and left the office, and the other person who came in decided to just put a stop to it. And so, is it the fault of the person who left now, or the fault of the person who came in?
It is the fault of the system. If the system has already highlighted that continuity is what we call governance, whoever that comes in must take up that project. Let's say the project, what we used to have is allocating such project to family and friends, and then making sure that project look like this project, the quotation is too much for what this project is all about. And by the time I want to start about continue it, I will need to first do a critical analysis of that project, check who is behind the project, those who are the consultants, those who are already working on it, and then determine if I can work with the project. That is why they will abandon such project. But I tell you, if they understand that governance is continuity, they will continue it, they will perfect it, and the person who is the person who is not doing well may be questioned somewhere else. It might be taken away. The project can be taken away from him and give it to some other person. But I tell you, it will reduce our level of corruption. The level of corruption in this country is at the peak.
All right, let's talk about the former president of this country, Olusegun Obasanjo. There was a time, I think shortly after his second term, there was this alleged third-term agenda. And then for years, they didn't speak on it until very recently that he said it was certain governors who were members of his party at that time who came to him and said, "You're doing well, sir. Can you run for a third term?" And then he didn't even oblige. He said no to that. So in a country where certain persons are not clamoring for a single term, there were certain governors at that time who wanted the current president at that time to even run for a third term.
At the time Obasanjo was coming in, Nigeria was just getting a relief from the military era. And it was also believed that this democracy may not last long if we don't have the kind of person like Obasanjo to rule us. And that if we continue in the system of Shagari, then the taking over of governance at that point may repeat itself again. And that was why Obasanjo was fit in to come in. Not that Falaye was not very good. But the truth of the matter is that he was seen as a man who has done it before, even under the military era, who knew everybody in that capacity, and who understand the country better than any other person. So it would have been better to bring him in to sanitize the country at that time. So when people started seeing the way and manner he was establishing some agencies like EFCC, like ICPC, and many other ministry like that, it shows that this man is performing. Can we a little bit extend it? It happened to anybody. I've seen a man who was doing very well to his wife, and his family came to him and said, "This man, you are very good. Don't you think of taking another second wife? If this woman can enjoy this much, let's see if he can give you a second wife." I've seen a man who has been very good in his own community as a chairman of such community, and his son is just to spend 2 terms. And after his 2 terms, people started clamoring that no, we can't give this position to another person. We want you to do it. But if you have integrity, if you understand what is beyond that particular time, what goes ahead, then a good no is to tell them no. Let's try somebody else. See, I tell people, responsibility makes people be responsible. When you give some people responsibility, they become responsible. I have tried it before. I have seen it work. People that I felt that they cannot be responsible, by the time I put them in a position of responsibility, they become responsible. And that is just it. If a person has tried that third time, yes, he will have completed it. But I tell you, that third time will be the worst of all his first time and the second time.
The Senate said no to it. Even regardless that some governors wanted him to run for.
Those Senate who said no, there are those members that did not get their own, Ghana must go back as at when maybe the money was reduced. But the truth of the matter is that...
Okay, you think money was shared?
Is there anything that is done in this country that money was not shared? The truth of the matter is that, yes, but they have finally come out to tell us that these are the people that came out to tell him, come and take a third term. And, you know, the ambition of his vice president exposed the entire thing. The vice president was so ambitious and still ambitious to date to say he wants to become the president. So it exposed, so he would blow it beyond proportion to say the president wants to go for third term. And I think that was what caused the clash between him and Obasanjo, because he did not understand the way the man has taken the request. It's a request. Anybody can get such requests. I've gotten such request before to ask me to go for third term, and I said no. In short, it was so much of me that they had to go through my wife to pressurize me. And my wife would say that if you leave this thing, it will broke. People will not do anything. I said, let it broke. Let me, sometimes you tell successor, he's feeling this, let it broke. But after which I said, let us try this man. The man looked like he has not been performing before, let us try him.
Okay, let's talk about another issue now. A certain doctor, you know, Department of History, University of Ibadan, late Dr. Ajayi Adeyinka, he says something that there is something fundamentally wrong with an African man. You know, why did he say that? Because we have certain African presidents in certain countries who have been in office for over 40 years. Talk about Paul Biya of Cameroon, 43 years. Omar Bongo, you know, 41 years as well. A lot of them, Robert Mugabe. So if you now, so for certain governors to come out at that time to say, let this person run for a third term.
That is an African mentality.
How sure are we that, you know, in the next 10, 15 years, other governors will not wake up one day and then ask the sitting president to also run for a third term?
That is where we need to work on our system. When the system critically stipulates that one time, just one time tenure, then it means that when we have it at one time tenure of 5 years, you don't ask anybody to come and continue again after them. If we can put that in our system, you see, everything has to do with system. Just like we are as human beings, our system will tell you when you want to go and when you need to go to the restroom. The system will tell you when you are hungry. The system will tell you when you are feeling dizzy. The system will tell you when you need to pick up something from the ground. It's just like that. But when we look at it in that way, we'll be able to balance up. See, I am not saying that we will not encounter corruption, but it will be minimized. It will be reduced. It also expose some other things that we don't know, that we felt we know. It will also expose so many things that are in governance. You see, I look at people, the way they govern, as if that is the end of the day. When you look back, look at the Obasanjo of them, a powerful man, the most powerful African president, a man that can control anybody from anywhere. And look at him today. He's even very fortunate. He's even very, very opportune to still be alive, to still have the strength to attend programs, attend functions, and then make some things and even tell the world what has been at that point. But have you met some past governors? Have you seen the way they look like now? And then the way they were when they were in government and acquiring the power and wealth. So that tells you that nothing goes forever. So if we put that at the back of our mind, and we also state clearly in our constitution that is a one-time tenure, then we'll be able to manage ourselves very well. In fact, that we rapid development in our rural areas that we have now.
Let's talk about the mentality of Nigerians now. You know about the contestants, those who are currently contesting for presidency. We know about Peter Obi and Kwakwansu. He said something even before the primaries that he's going to rule for just one single term if he should win, and he will hand over to someone else. And then most Nigerians were able to interpret that he definitely maybe hand over to his vice. And then we also have Atiku, who is running for the first, who has never been the president.
Who has always been running.
He has always been running for presidency. And then we have President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who is currently in power now. Now, this is my question. When Peter Obi made that statement, the politicians, especially the loyalists, of this current administration, said it is not possible that the kind of person Peter Obi is, he can never rule for one single term. Now, it speaks to the mentality of Nigerians that we have that idea that it is never possible for somebody, a president, to rule for one single term.
My sister, it is never possible. It does not look reality for somebody who was born in a ghetto, raised up in a ghetto, school in a ghetto, to say, come around, let's take you back to like areas like Ikoyi, where they have a room self-contained. You just come out from your room to your bedroom, and you come. This person in the ghetto used to take his bucket to go and fetch water and take his bath outside. And you take the person, it will look unrealistic to that person. The person will look at you and say, what are you saying? You know? But the truth of the matter is, we need to change our mentality. Have you gone through our roads and see that we always have something I call window dressing, where the front yard is okay, but the backyard is as bad as anything? That is what we are facing right now. And I tell you, if Peter Obi can stand on what he said, and maybe by God's grace he is opportune to be the president, it may be the turnaround that everybody is looking out for. It may be the change that everybody are clamoring for. But I tell you, to me, I am not in support of a two-term governance for anybody. I'm in support of a one-term governance so as to give balance to our democracy, save the life of our democracy, give us the ability to gather these things that we want to do. And again, I mean for everybody to be partaker of government. Because some people have just been in government, it has just been like a particular people coming in. And if we are not careful, we will not get the good result that we desire. This desire of the good result is to have a good road, they have a good local government, functioning local government. Not that local government that the money is coming from the federal and the state is getting it to their pocket. So these are many of these that I'm expecting us to consider in the area of asking for a one-term governance, a one-term tenure for our governance. It saves our lives, it saves our money, it exposes corruption, it reduces corruption.
Okay, the final question then. One term of 4 years, can it end the ethnic rivalry that we have across the country?
Sure.
Are you certain?
I'm certain. Because like I just said, a particular people have just been coming in. Some people have been saying that they have never been opportune to be in that presidency. And we know them, the middle belts. They have never been opportune. And that tells you that if you have it in the one-term tenure, it has 3 states will have enjoyed, they will have put up somebody to become the president. It will come to their town. And that is just it. See, growth will have been rapid. Not in this low kind of growth that we are having.
Are other regions ready to, take up the presidency?
We have competent hands in all other regions. We have competent hands. Just like in Oyo State.
Okay.
We have competent hands in other regions in Oyo State. In Shaki, in Ogbomoso, we have competent hands. You go there and you see names, you see people. When you have professor in Ibadan, they have professor in Ogbomoso.
What about the role of godfathers, or let me say kingmakers now? Because if you have people
that also downsize the strength of kingmakers.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I think it's a fun place to leave this discussion this morning. From your responses, I think I was able to gather that you are trying to advocate for a single-term presidency, and then, in your opinion, you think it will end corruption and then possibly, put a stop to ethnic rivalry as well. Okay, it's a fun place to leave this discussion this morning. Thank you for being a part of today's big story. And of course, we have come to the end of today's session. My name is Oluwayemi Adelakwa, and a big thanks to Afolabi Afolami, Public Affairs, and his, for sharing, his insight on this particular topic. We'll see you tomorrow. Please stay safe. Bye for now.